Good evening, good evening, good evening. Today is still Friday, September 5th, 2025. Back with another episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I'm bringing you another Bienville Square edition. As I've told you, this is called Bienville Square, Mobile, Alabama. I've been coming down here since I was like a baby. And that same, all right, how y'all doing? That same, what would we call it? Wishing well. I remember coming down here, throwing my little penny off and making wishes. And my mother would hear me make a wish. I would wish that I had like a car, some like little, Hot Wheel car or something, right? I wish I had the new such and such car. And my mother would hear me. And then later on that day, somehow that car would show up. A mother's love. I come down here when I'm feeling, as I told y'all before the last time I was here, I come down here to relax my mind, to get away. It's free, other than the gas money you spend to come down here. And I just come to relax my mind, reflect, think. And I was just thinking about that. Wishing for that car. And when I get home later that day, the car happened to be on my bed. And I really thought that throwing money in that wishing well made my wish come true. Only if that was the truth. Because if it was, I would take every dime I got and throw it in that son of a bitch right now and make some wishes. One of the wishes I would wish is that no more fake people will be allowed to come around me. That would be one. Another wish would be that the corruption, the wickedness that are done by a few to the masses, I would wish that would stop. If I can throw some money in that wishing well right now, and my wishes really came true. Number one, no fake people around me. Number two, the wickedness and corruption in the world would stop. Because believe it or not, the corruption is what's causing 99% of the problems we're having in this world. Think about it. I was watching a commercial not too long ago. I told you about this commercial. It came on again the other day. A bankruptcy lawyer. And the lawyer said if it wasn't for financial stress, life would be virtually stress-free. He said if it wasn't for financial stress, life would be virtually stress-free. Meaning that the majority of the stress and the suffering that we're going through today, the majority of people, 99% of the people, 99% of your problem is financial problems. Most of our problem will be solved with a certain amount of money. And that's what the bankruptcy lawyer was saying when he said if it wasn't for financial stress, life would be virtually stress-free. The financial stress that most of us are dealing with and corruption are tied in together. Most of us are struggling financially, not because we're not working hard, not because we're not giving it our all, not because we don't want anything out of life and we just want a handout and we want somebody to give us something and we're making excuses. And that's not why the majority of us are having financial stress, financial difficulties. It ain't like in the olden days when the broke people, most of them were people that didn't want to go to work at all. See, if you just worked a little bit, you can have some money in your pocket. You may not be rich, but you can have $50, $75, $100 if you work just a little bit back in the day. Now, not so much. You can work hard nowadays and still be broke. That's already been determined. So if I wish for the corruption to go away, the majority of us, the majority of y'all that watching me right now, that's financially strapped, about to lose everything, don't know how you're gonna pay your bills, how you're gonna afford your groceries. The majority of that is not just because. It didn't just happen. It's corruption. Greed, corruption. If it wasn't for financial stress, life would be virtually stress-free. Look at, other than the few people that's dealing with health issues. And believe it or not, financial stress difficulties is number one thing. And then we're dealing with health issues. That's also tied into corruption. If you got rid of corruption, you would solve all the problems in the world that the majority of us are facing right now. You get rid of corruption, you would solve the majority of the problems we're facing. Number one, financial. Number two, health. Those are the two main areas that we're struggling with right now. The financial problem is because of corruption, greed, stealing, lying, what have you. And the health issues we're facing. All this cancer now, and all these other diseases, and the thing you gotta wear the mask for, and all that kind of, gotta be careful. You know what we gotta do. Diabetes, high blood, all the health issues we're dealing with. Because the health crisis we're facing, in my opinion, allegedly, I think it's coming from the food we're eating. We're eating our death. Allegedly, you too. This is just my theory, my opinion, my viewpoint. I am not a doctor. I'm not a health professional. I'm not a scientist. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I believe we are eating our death. We are eating our sickness. We are eating the cancer. We're eating the diabetes. We're eating the high blood pressure. When I was growing up, I remember going to funerals as a child. Hold on, y'all. Make sure this microphone's still on. I remember going to funerals as a child, right? Every funeral I went to with my mother, it was always somebody old. Some old lady with a wig cocked on the side of her head. The wig, for some reason, your funeral home back then, it would be some old lady in the casket. And her wig would never be right on her head. Them old lady wigs back in the day, if y'all remember back in the 70s, them wigs they used to wear. They ain't had this stuff they got now, these wigs that look like, they had them old lady wigs back then. It was just, they didn't care. And it will always be some old lady with a wig cocked to the side like a Kango or a brim or something. And it was always either old lady or old man. No young people, 30 years old, unless they had it was a rare car wreck or something, some type of accident. It wasn't caused no sickness or no illness that young folk was dying from like now. You got young people dying. I just lost a couple of classmates within the last month or so from dying from diabetes and kidney failure and all that type, like 50, 35, 40, dying from health issues. That was unheard of when I was growing up. It was always somebody old. Only way somebody died that was young was from a car accident or something like that. It wasn't from health. Now, young people are dying from poor health. We are eating the poison. The reason we are eating the poison, the reason we are eating death, the reason we are eating cancer, we're eating the cancer. We are breathing the cancer. We are breathing death. You think you're breathing oxygen. You're breathing oxygen mixed with formaldehyde or some other, who knows what is in the air. Allegedly. I was watching our news, local news. We've had a couple of people die over the last couple of weeks from flesh-eating bacteria from being at the beach. What the F is that? At the beach, you out there with your family, you come home, a couple of days later you dead from some shit that was in the water. Corruption. Y'all send me some money. There go Big Ward begging, send me some money so I can throw off that wishing well. Cause I'm gonna need all the money I can get to make these wishes come true. So I can throw off in that wishing well like I did when I was a little boy. See, back then I ain't had to throw no but a penny in there. And I wished for my little Tonka toy and I got it. So in order for me to make these wishes come true, it's gonna take more than a penny to throw off in that wishing well. I'm gonna have to fill that son of a bitch up with money to make these wishes come true. Cause we in the grips of some major corruption, evil and wickedness, greed. You can't afford to pay your bills because that man needs a new yacht. You can't afford to buy groceries because that man needs a new G5. Or another one of them big mega yachts, whatever they call them, big son of bitches, the yacht, 300 million. That's why you can't afford groceries. You getting sick from eating the food allegedly because they allegedly, no, this ain't alleged, this proven fact now. If YouTube want to flag me for this, for telling the truth. Hormones in the food, in the chicken. Have you noticed on the commercials for chicken and whatnot and beef, some of the companies will talk like their meat is better than the other companies because we don't put hormone free. Have you noticed those commercials when they say the food is hormone free? So if they're saying theirs is hormone free, that means some of the others is not. You can look on some of the chicken packages in the store and it will say these chickens were never on steroids. So if you gotta tell me that these chickens that I'm looking at right now were not on steroids, that means that there are some chickens that have been filled with steroids. I was watching a documentary about that. And it was talking about how, because of the population, how fast the population is growing, and the food supply is not able to keep up with the population. The normal organic way, the way we used to grow chicken, the way we used to grow vegetables, the way we used to grow fruit, if we kept growing it that way, the food will not keep up with the growing population of people. So they figured out a way to where they had to have the food keep up with the pace. So now once upon a time when it would take a chicken from the time it hatched, maybe 6 months or more to become mature and ready to eat, now they shoot them up. From the time they're born out the egg, they're fully grown in a month. They still baby chickens. And on the documentary, it was showing a lot of the chickens that whose legs were broke. They couldn't walk. The chicken's leg was broke because their body grew too fast for the legs. The legs couldn't hold them up, and the leg would just break from that weight growing too fast. The chickens would go from the egg to fully grown in 1 month instead of 6 months to a year because they're shooting them up. And we're eating this crap. We're eating fruits and vegetables. They have to put organic on the package. And they have to put, on the other package, they don't put nothing. Or they put GMO, genetically modified organisms. What that means is we're eating bananas and whatnot that's been tampered with. They're not natural. So now we got labels that say this is, what you call it, non-GMO, organic, which means it was grown the old-fashioned way. When they say organic, and you have to pay more for organic because it was grown the old-fashioned way. So they figured out a way to make more money. We're gonna grow the food the old-fashioned way and charge you more to have that. If you ain't got the money to buy the old-fashioned food, the way grandma and them used to do it, on the farm and what have you, we're gonna charge you more for that, or you can go buy the cheaper version. And it was created by bad scientists somewhere. Where do they taste it? So now when you go in the grocery store, and you go to the produce department, you can't smell none of the fruit. You don't smell no plum, no apple, you don't smell no bananas. Fruit's supposed to give off a smell, an odor. And it smells wonderful. Not anymore. Go to your local Walmart. Go in the produce department. Hold the bananas to your nose, and you still can't smell it. I'm gonna leave it at that. Get rid of corruption, and you'll get rid of all the problems we have in the world. And that's wishful thinking. So that's why I'm at a wishing well. Because it's wishful thinking. Because that's not gonna happen. So, again, you find me out here in this park, just enjoying a moment of peace. And I'm gonna end this video and go back into the real world. Get it, got it, good. Bye.